Steve-Arvey, and I'm here at the 2023 Maine Cigar Box Guitar Festival. And guess who's here this year? The great pickup maker, winder. I'm talking about Marty Tauber. How are you, Marty?
Very good.
I'm so glad to finally meet you. You know, I've been playing his pickups in my guitars now for years and years, and I've got over like 1 million views with his pickups in guitars that I play. So today we're going to go over what Marty does and how he makes the pickups. This is going to be really informative. Thanks for stopping in on the channel. So Marty, your pickups are great. We all know that. What influenced or inspired you to start making guitar pickups?
Well, I was making cigar box guitars for about 12 years, and it's a natural progression to start making pickups. And at the St. Louis Cigar Box Guitar Festival, I met Dan Sleep, who originated this type of pickup. And we became good friends, and unfortunately he came down with cancer and passed away. But before that, we had talked weekly, and he had given me enough information how to start winding these and gave me permission to copy his design. I made a few improvements on it to make it my own, and I started making them. Then, fortunately, C.B. Giddy, I worked with him at a children's maker festival, and he admired one of my pickups, and he asked if I'd wind for them. Well, for him, that was 3,000 pickups ago.
Wow.
And I've been making them since then. I have over 5,000 wound altogether. So that's what got me going into it. And now, as age and arthritis and everything kicks in, this is what I'm doing now. I stopped making guitars. I'm just making pickups now for all cigar box enthusiasts.
Great. So here we are. Marty's going to show us right now what it takes to make a guitar pickup.
Okay, I cut squares from metal I purchased at a local store, and I wanted to cut like this. I give them to my wife, who does all the extra work onto it by putting the insulation on, finding center on it, and putting the stops on it. From there, she'll give them back to me. I'll put them on the winder, which I made myself, my own tensioner, my own transverse, and we make them. I try for these. I put 2,400 winds per side.
Wow.
And it would go. Now I'll do this until I get 2,400 winds on it, in a clockwise rotation. I'll stop it, switch over to the opposite side, and put another 2,400 counterclockwise, which makes it a humbucker, which will cancel out all AC hum noise. This takes approximately about 2 minutes per side.
Okay.
And there's nothing like this on the market. So everything you see here, I had to build from scratch, from leftover pieces I had from cigar box guitars, and scrap plexiglass I had from work. And I just looked at different designs that were on the market for a couple $1,000s and made my own.
I noticed you've got like a wood on and off switch. It's kind of bigger than. Why'd you do that?
Easier with my hands just to grab it. And
Gotcha.
The on-off switch actually is a.
So you just went
That's
to 2411.
Right.
Wow.
I give them a couple extra. This is the reverse switch. Now it's going to wind the opposite direction.
So now let me ask you, while it's winding on the other,
Sure.
There's always been the rumors that some of the girls in at Fender in Fullerton, Colorado, or California, would all of a sudden accidentally let the winding. Sometimes they would be talking and they would overwind the pickups. That's why a lot of those old pickups on the Tellys are better. What do you think about that?
Honestly, I'd say 80% of mine have at least 20 to 50 wines extra.
Okay.
You know, it's just, I like to give the customer a little bit extra sometimes. If I have a lot and I'm running low on materials, I'll cut it off right to the wines. I'm not a perfectionist. I don't have to have 2,400 wines exactly. 2,411, 2,450. The customer wins. That's how I look at it. Okay, I just switched over the wire. I move this over to the second side. Adjust. And I have to put a couple lock wines on it. There we go.
Wow, awesome. Look at that. This is incredible, Marty.
I know I've talked to some winders who say, you know, it's so monotonous and everything. I'm retired now, so this keeps me occupied. I have too much trouble, and it's fun.
Dude, you're giving us guitar players tone. I mean, your pickup's got its own sound. I mean, it's been amazing. I mean, I work with a lot of different pickup manufacturers and pickups. You know, it's always great to have different sounds, and as a guitar player, you have to have different sounds and stuff that sounds good. I mean, there's good pickups, there's bad pickups, and the better pickups, like what you have their own distinct sound. And I'm all about tone. I have to have good tone, and thank you, Marty, for providing this tone.
You're very welcome. I enjoy doing it. I have to be honest, the Cigar Box community is one of the best communities I've ever seen as far as helping people out, being supportive for whatever.
So we're gonna go right up to. Now, do you have to match it on the other side, like you did? Oh, you went to 24-22.
Someone's gonna get lucky.
Somebody's gonna get lucky.
Okay, then I just put a little bit of insulation tape, which I'll use later on also to secure it. There. Here we go. That's what happens when your hands get old.
Ah, you're doing a great job, Marty.
And one thing I've learned, before I do anything else, put another one in there, because otherwise what's going to happen is inadvertently, I'm going to hit the wire and it's going to pull out. So that's why I had my wife make up a couple hundred of these, and this wire is here so I don't hit it. Ask me how I know that.
How you know that?
Because I've hit it a couple hundred times.
So really, it's not, your company's not really Marty Tauber, Wicked Bucker.
Marty and wife.
Marty, exactly. Mr. and Mrs. Tauber Industries, right. Yes.
Okay, just gotta make sure.
Did it catch?
It caught, but it's not quite perfect. Okay, after we finished winding them, I've secured the wires here, and now I have to put on the lead wires. On mine, black wire goes on the initial wiring on the clockwise side. What I'll do is, first I'll just dip it a little bit in a little bit of flux, and with my big hands, I gotta take the wire off. The wire is the number 46 wire, which is as thin as your hair. So,
wow.
Yeah. There we go. At the house, I have a whole bench set up with a ventilation system and everything. When you sit down and wind and solder 50 or 60 of these at a clip, these fumes aren't exactly the best for you.
Right.
And I forgot to turn it on. So what I'll do is I'll solder these up and then test it. If I don't get 3 ohms or better, it's garbage. I'll go wind another one, strip the wiring off it, and make another one. Okay, the insulation tape. Now, a lot of winders do not use insulation tape on the wires like this. I put it on for an extra layer of protection so it doesn't short out against the metal. One side.
There's companies that would do that without having insulation.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. They'll just use hot glue on it or shellac, and they fail. I don't do that.
Good job.
Here I will just wait for a second, turn on my ohm meter, and test it out. 2.8. Once I solder, hot glue it and seal it, it'll be 3.0 or better.
How do you know that?
Experience. When you do 5,000 of them and you look at it and you say, oh no. One of the big questions I ask, how do I get the glue not to stick to the paper when I make it flush?
All right.
You know the paper you peel off labels and always throw away with the shiny side?
Yep. Wow.
I usually put a piece of aluminum on it, act as a heat sink for a few seconds. There you go.
Nice and flat. Yeah, beautiful.
Okay, the magnet's on, and I use Scotch shipping tape. It's extremely heavy and extremely durable. That's why I guarantee them to always not break, and always to work. I seal them up like this, and once they're sealed with a magnet, before I package them, I'll test them again. 2.92, 3.0, close enough.
Right.
So, and that's your one, what they would call a giddy bucker. That's the name Ben Giddy had given it. But with a case on it, like this, it's called a wicked bucker.
Right.
And you see both of them on. This is good for ghosting underneath a panel. This is good for a surface mount.
Right.
It's the same pickup, no matter what.
So you can ghost that pickup too, right?
Oh yes, yes.
How do they work? Like in like, so let's take like a Romeo and Juliet box, which is like thicker.
You have to thin down the box lid.
You got to thin down the
Right.
box lid.
Ideally, you have to be within 3 to half an inch above the coils with the strings for them to get the optimum amount of sound. The higher you go, the less sound you're going to get.
Okay.
So that's why, you get Romeo and Juliet, you got to take a router or chisel. And
What do you think is one of the better boxes to do that in?
Cohibas.
Cohibas?
Yeah, anything with, say, an 1/8, 3/16 of an inch lid onto
Okay.
it. Those are the best.
All right, good.
Or license plates.
It's good for license plates too then.
Yeah. Most of the license plates now are not ferrous metal. They're aluminum, which doesn't affect these. The older plates that are ferrous metal that a magnet attaches to, you have to put it on top because it won't go through.
So thanks again, Marty. This right here is Steve, who's in charge of the whole main Cigar Box Guitar Festival. And Steve, thank you so much for having me and bringing Marty and sharing this incredible way that he makes pickups on YouTube. And I really want to thank you for having us here. Thank you, Marty. And we're gonna I just bought this one pickup. We're gonna have it on. You can get that pickup that we made specially here.
It's gotta have some good mojo.
It's got to have some good mojo. You saw a few little overlines.
And the most important part of it, made in America.
That's right.
Right.
And you can buy these at cbgiddy.com. And Ben Giddy will be happy to fill up your whole basket, builders, with these pickups.
I use them quite a bit myself.